Good evening. I'm very pleased that we can welcome Craig SORRELL tonight to After the Buzzer. Um, Thank you for joining us, Craig. You're not out there in the jungle, are you? You're not going for that celebrity status.
Absolutely not. No, just in the garden, in the back garden now.
A bit of peace. As I said, thank you for finding time to speak to us. And some people might say, "Well, hang on a minute. This is meant to be about Exeter and District." Yes, it is. But people that have played in Exeter and District and had an impression on Exeter and District. And I'm going to go not right back to the beginning of your basketball because I'm sure we'll cover that in a minute. But just to put it into place, Bridport Evolution used to play in Exeter and District League, correct?
That is very true. Yeah, yeah. Trying to think what the years were now. How long have we been in the Dorset League? It's got to be 6, 7 years ago was the last time we played in the Exeter and District League. But we were there for a few years
I
for
was going to
sure.
say it's
Yeah,
got to be some time because
yeah.
I hate to say it, but I think I was sort of acting out playing when when Bridport were in the league. And that made it a huge league, as in area, and there was a lot of travelling for you then, wasn't there, in Bridport?
It was, yeah, yeah. I mean, actually, where we're to, even with the Dorset League now, the travelling is probably still the same for us as it was coming to the Exeter and District League. But yeah, that's one of the commitments you have to make to play basketball, and we decided it was the right thing for us. So, and it was good times back then.
Yeah. So where did it all begin for you with basketball then, Craig? How old were you and how did you
Uh, okay, so I was 8 years old, and my parents took me on a family holiday to Orlando, Florida. My mum was a big Disney fanatic, so they wanted to go there for the Disney parks and bits and pieces. And I'd never sort of touched basketball before that or even thought about it by then, but my parents wanted to get rid of me for a couple of hours, I think, and sent me to a basketball game, and that was probably the biggest mistake they made. I was 8 years old, went and watched an Orlando Magic game in Orlando back in the sort of Penny and Shaq days, and yeah, it made me fall in love with it straight away, really. So yeah, picked up a basketball from then on.
and where was your first team, as in that you played for or trained with?
So Bridport was the
Right.
first place. So when I got back, I started playing with a school down the parks, bits and pieces like that. And then it was about 2011 when Tony Glover, who was my
Yeah.
first coach in Bridport, he was running a youth centre on a Friday night, and there was a few of us there that just wanted to pick up a basketball and play. And he said, "Well, we've got plenty here. We should, set up a team." So it started there, and that was that really. Yeah, so I was about 11 when I started there.
And Bridport's Bridport Evolution has come a long way since then, hasn't it? As have you, really. Um, I'm going back to what Bridport was like, from my memory back then. Obviously, you played in the Exeter and District League because there wasn't a Dorset League. Um, and the pickup of basketball in your area, the area where it took off, didn't it? It actually took off.
It did, yeah. I mean, well, the COVID period, 2019, 2020, was a big change for us. But prior to that, Bridport Basketball Club, when Tony ran it, and then when I took over, it was really just one men's team. We were struggling just to get enough players to fulfill that one team. We had the odd year where we tried a women's team, we tried a junior setup. It didn't really take off very much, but funny when COVID hit and basketball stopped for well, several months. We had lots of messages from parents saying, "Do you do anything for juniors?" Because they've got their kids playing basketball in their back gardens because they've got nothing else to do. And I thought, well, we've had several messages. When we're allowed back to playing again, I'll just run a taster session for juniors and see what happens. And we had 30 kids turn up. So from that moment on, really, we thought junior sessions, and it just spiraled from there. And now we've got an under 10s, under 12s, under 14s, under 16s. We're starting an under 18s going into this season. 2 men's teams and a women's team starting up as well. So yeah, it's definitely spiraled, I think is the way to put it.
It's strange, isn't it, that, and I hadn't associated with that, but obviously COVID came, and it was, from my side as the chair in Exeter District, was quite a worrying time. Obviously, basketball had been classed as one of the most riskier of sports, being although it's not officially a contact sport, a lot of face-to-face contact.
Oh yeah.
Indoors, so you haven't got the wind or anything to take any germs away. And I'll be honest, I wondered if we would get through it. I wondered what it would look like afterwards, whether we'd be able to maintain the players, the teams. You know, it it was quite worrying, and I know lots of people. We tried to generate things going on, and in fact, this after the buzzer was meant to start during that time, but then there was so many precautions we had to put in place to get a game going after several months, as you say, that that sort of took precedent over everything else. And we found
Mm,
in Exeter District following COVID, yeah, not only did you have all the same teams there, you had more people there, and it's like, where have these
yeah.
people come from? But it could be like, almost like you've said, you've got the kids at home alone. There's not many sports they can play on their own, but they can chuck a ball up at a hoop.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. And I think that introduced, obviously, most of the parents were at home with the kids, so there was a lot more parents and children interacting together in their back gardens. And I think having a hoop in the garden introduced parents go with it, playing with their kids in the garden as well. And we've had several dads and now mums coming through the junior setup, watching them play and getting involved, and now wanting to play themselves as well. And I think that probably comes from that COVID period as well, when our men's team grew dramatically because they were out there playing as well, and down the parks because they could stay in the out in the fresh air with it. So yeah, but it was scary times, but that was one of the positives that we could take from it for
Yeah,
us.
and it's great news that you've now got a ladies team, girls, ladies, um, because female basketball, I'm not saying taking off, but there is getting more and more female players out there. And I think, like everything, once you get people playing regularly, it actually builds that. It's when you lose that regularity and that bit of competition that, things tend to move around. And, you know, hopefully, as happened with Plymouth League, it will take off and you can end up forming, just the same as you have with the Dorset League, your own division up there, own ladies division, because that'd be brilliant. I mean, Plymouth has taken a few years, but last season, the season before, they managed to get a female division going. It's a bit lonely having the only female division in the Southwest. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's great news that that's happening. A little bit more about Bridport Evolution. So, what's your role there? Are you the chair or club
Well,
secretary or everything?
how many roles am I
Yeah.
allowed to officially have?
So
Yeah,
you
so
got Bridport Evolution then.
I, do, I do run the club, yes. I have got a small team of coaches who help coach the different age groups now. Tony Glover is back coaching with us, my first coach. He's come back and he's coaching the under 10s. He really enjoys the grassroots side of it, so he's doing the under 10s. This year he's stepping up and doing our under 16s. But yeah, I've got him. I've got a couple of our original Bridport Evolution players who are still playing sort of regularly in our second team or first team now. They've stepped up and become coaches as well. So I've got a team of sort of 5 of us on the coaching squad who are helping me with that. But apart from that, pretty much everything else falls in my hands. So it's, there's a lot of work involved all the time behind the scenes, as
Yeah.
I'm sure you know, Carl, anyway. But yeah,
Well, from
it's
the outside, you're doing a
been well worth
fantastic
it.
job. You're doing a fantastic job from what's
Yeah.
outside. And I was going to touch on, part of that, the what I'd call the innovative, I can't even say it now, side. So I've been very impressed with, obviously, you get photographers there, um, taking images of the players during the game, which is brilliant. Your graphics, logo, and all that side. Who does all that for you? Is that you as well?
So yeah, I've got. I mean, I can't take credit for the photography. That's for sure. We've got a photographer, Emily, who's been on board with us now for several years, and she's the master behind the camera. There's no doubt about it, and she's done a lot of putting us on the map. There's no doubt about that. But all the sort of AI posters and bits and pieces like that, between me and my wife, we sit there and do them every night really religiously. But yeah, this year we've had another couple of volunteers come in who have they're trying to help take the load off of myself and Kate, my wife, and they're sort of hopefully going to take on a bit more of the media role of it. So I've been sort of teaching him and bits and pieces for us, and that's a couple whose child plays in our under 10s. So they've been involved with the club for a year as well. So they know what it's all about. They know what we're trying to build as a community, and they're really sort of getting invested in it as well. So hopefully they'll be on board to help take some of this away from me as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that media side is it's a big drain, isn't it? It is a drain. I mean, you said there, you and your wife, you sit there during the evenings preparing it religiously, to go out. Um, and I know from my side, and I don't do anywhere near as much as you do, but it's a drain on your time, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I've got I've got a young family. I've got 3 daughters. 2 of them still living with me now. And yeah, trying to find the time. You're looking for every little 20 minutes here and there just to just start building the next poster for the next game or the next event. Yeah, it helps to have a supportive family.
Yeah. And I am going to ask, what software do you use? Is it
Uh,
or
Actually, the AI program I'm using to do the last lot of posters is Bing, Microsoft Bing.
right?
I've been using that. I found it one of the easiest for descriptive,
Yeah.
words. It picks them up pretty well, and yeah, sort of comes to the right sort of image that I'm looking for the quickest. So it's been the sort of main one for me.
Yeah, and definitely AI image creators put a new twist on things, isn't it? I mean, I've played around, I've
Oh,
toyed
they
a
have.
little bit with it, and it does get those comments, and it's always I I'm not ashamed to say it. I copy some of your stuff. I see your almost like your match results between your Bridport Evolution Gorilla and whatever team you're playing against,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you get a few comments coming back from the teams going, "You're mocking us." No, actually, it's just a bit of fun. Come on.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about. Actually, we've had. I mean, I don't want to say that I started a craze, but we've had other teams in the Dorset League follow suit a little bit and get on board with a little bit of banter between the two
Yeah,
teams on the social media side. And actually, that brings a little bit more personality to the games when we get to the games and after the games as well. People have a bit of fun and they communicate. And for me, that's one of the biggest reasons we play is building that community of players, two different teams. We're in it for the same reason. So yeah, I think it's good, harmless fun.
yeah. No, I
Yeah.
agree. And talking about building communities and different things basketball. It'd be wrong on me. 3 by 3, 3 on 3. You must
Yeah,
be you.
yeah.
You've got to be one of the biggest mover and shakers, especially launching it in the UK. You've got to be.
I'm in talks with other people who I would put above me in regards to 3 on 3, but um, my objective of just trying to introduce 3 on 3 to our area, I feel like I'm getting there. It's definitely making the right tracks, and obviously the tournament that I run annually down here. I never expected it to get to where it is now. It was always just going to be a little summer tournament for people to have a with it, but it expanded and it's gone, to a nice big stage where we get teams come from Europe even now. We've had teams come from Germany and Lithuania just to play in it, which is, way beyond what I was expecting. There's no doubt about it. But I'm very proud of what we've achieved, and I've got a whole crew of volunteers who come and help every year with it, from all over the country, because they want to be involved in it as well. And it does come down to that big word, the community we bring there. I think that's what brings most people down. But yes, it was about putting 3 on 3 on the map in Dorset or down south for us, and I feel like we're making the right tracks to making
I
that
wouldn't say
happen.
making it. I'd
So
say you've certainly
yeah,
done it. You've achieved it. We can always go greater, but you've definitely achieved that mark right from the start. And you know, I, I the format of the game, I think, is amazing. Don't get me wrong, I love, standard basketball as well. But it just that format just brings something else, doesn't it? It's a different image, it's a different style. Um, I suppose it's a bit more of the street ball side of it, a bit more, crowds are more involved, it's more ferocious than the other.
yeah. I think anybody who's never watched any basketball, I think if I was to ask them to watch 3 on 3 before 5 on 5, they'll get more into it. And I think it's because packed pace of the game. And players get to express their individuality a little bit more with it. So I think for spectator side of it, it engages a lot quicker with fans, and that leads on to the 5 on 5 for me. So it's a good place to start. But yeah, I mean, I love both. I'm a big 5 on 5 fan. I've been in it, since I was 8. But 3 on 3 is something that I think can develop both as well. So yeah, it is a good fun sport to be involved in.
And it's amazing, really, isn't it? Because, standard basketball, 5 on 5 basketball is a fast sport. It was always like, this is fast pace. And then you bring 3 on 3 and it's like, Christ, what's going on now?
Yeah,
5 on 5
yeah, yeah.
drugs.
10 minutes is a long 10 minutes is a long time to be running around in 3 on 3. It is
Yeah.
it's hard. It's a difficult game.
And am I right in saying you do the Bournemouth sevens now? Is that right? So you,
That's correct. Yeah. So actually, it was 20. Where are we now? It was 2017. I wrote to Bournemouth Sevens and said to them, because they had Bournemouth Rugby Sevens, Netball Fives, and hockey. All the sort of shorter down games of different sports. And I said, actually, 3 on 3 basketball will fit perfectly in. So I went to them in 2017 and sort of asked them if they'd be open to bringing 3 on 3 there. And at the time, they just weren't quite as interested as I wanted them to be. So it sort of all quietened down. It didn't happen. But 3 years ago, so 2022, they got back in touch with me and said, look, we think now's the right time to bring in 3 on 3. Would you be interested in helping with it? So I went and had a meeting with them, how we would run it and how it would be situated within the event itself. And it just absolutely, just took off. It was brilliant. I mean, it's probably the same size tournament as what I run in Bridport. So it was sort of in my comfort zone, I
Yeah.
guess. But on a larger spectator scale, because we were based at basically the way the court is, it's where all the spectators come through the main entrance. So every single person comes through the door, the first thing they see is the 3-on-3. So we get lots of crowds around it, lots of people coming in from different sports, and I mean they have 30,000 people through the door over the weekend. So it was it was brilliant to get it involved
You
in
couldn't
that
have paid for
festival
a better
there as
ticket for
well.
location.
So yeah. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. It was the prime location for it to be seen by all. So what I love about Bournemouth Sevens is you've got 400 sort of teams across all the different sports there. Everybody's there to enjoy their sport, but also support the other sports while they're there. So you get rugby players, netball players, lots of other people coming to watch the basketball while it's happening as well. So yeah, it was really good. I really enjoy being part of that event.
And do they have as big a reach as your Bridport one? Do they get European teams there as well, or is it just UK based?
Not yet. Yeah, not yet. I mean, I still think it's quite early days for Bournemouth Sevens. It's only we've just had our third year there, and although all three have been a good success, it's a very steady growth with it, and I think it's got to keep building that reputation and growth at a steady pace. So I'd like to think in 2 or 3 years' time, if it continues, then it might start reaching out to other teams across Europe as well. But at the moment, well, we had a team this year come from Manchester, which was probably the furthest away. But it does attract around this country, which is quite good.
And do they do the drone footage photography like you do in Bridport?
No, I definitely didn't see any drones at Bournemouth Sevens. But hopefully we'll have a drone at Bridport again this year.
I was going to say again, innovation. It's seeing those, I suppose, different angles of watching basketball is just something. I remember when I stuck a GoPro just like behind the glass board of the ring, you just get that different angle. And I was actually chuffed because I got one of those free throws that went around the ring about 4 times before it fell in. You
Oh,
think, oh, you couldn't wish for something better. But
yeah.
no, innovation is always good. And your
Good.
work, Craig, you're an electrician, aren't you, by trade?
I am. Yeah, Monday to Friday, electrician. Yeah, self-employed.
And how does
Um,
that cross over into basketball?
well, it's crossed over in different ways, really. I mean, I'm fortunate that being self-employed, it gives me the flexibility to be able to do the basketball that I want to do. Coaching 3 or 4 days a week with the club, it takes its time, and it means sometimes I've got to finish work early to be able to get there on time to run the sessions. So the flexibility of being self-employed is the biggest bonus. I don't think I'll be able to do it if I wasn't. But the crossover a couple of years ago, being an electrician, I actually got involved with the professional league. It was the BBL at the time, now known as the SLB. But they were installing camera systems around all the venues so that they could start live streaming all of their games. And they came to me to do all of that. So that's where the electrician side of it came in quite handy to partner with the basketball side. So I went round and sort of installed all the camera live streams, which was
Get to see
that was a
games.
different thing to do.
Yeah, get to see some
Sorry.
games, I'm assuming as well.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, going on to another subject, but I've been involved with the BBL since 2013, helping them run their finals events. And one of the best parts about it is being able to be there, working and seeing how the finals operate, and just being there courtside on these, the big eye opener, but great experience as well.
I was going to say, I think I've seen you at the O2, haven't I, before at one of the finals. So
That's right. Yeah,
sure, yeah,
yeah.
I'm
The
sure it was the
O2s,
O2.
that's the playoffs.
And you better give a shout out to you. Come on, you're self-employed. Give a shout out to your business whilst we're here.
I try and keep it under the radar, to be honest, guys. But yeah, I mean, it's called Sorrell and Son Electrical, mainly for the reason that I was in partnership with my father. He's the one who, the electrician I am today, but he has now retired. It is just me on my own.
It's
So,
just son
and
on its
my
own.
wife does all the paperwork. So it is just son. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, can't go without asking. You're obviously sat there with your Fimber top on, Masters basketball. Where's that
Yep.
taking you, and what part
Yeah. So
have you partaken in that?
So last year, I decided, obviously, I'm in my 40s, and I thought, it's always a dream to be able to represent your country, what has been for me. So I went and trialed out for the over 40s FIMBA GB team, and it was a lot of work and commitment. You need to be committed to be able to do it because we were training, all over the country. Most of our training sessions were Derby, so quite a distance to travel. But fortunately for me, our coach selected me to play, and I went and competed in the European Championships last year, which was one of the a surreal sort of experience. It really was just to put on a GB vest and represent your country. I think at any level, I think is something to really be proud of. But yeah, so got to go to Italy last year to do that, and hopefully now back in training again to try and say in the squad for next year for the tournament in Athens. So still in.
They, they must be quite, from the feedback I've heard from other people that have been involved, it's quite an experience to be involved in, and as you say, very proud moment to be able to, represent your country.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think anyone, and I think the other thing as well is to show that it's there for all ages. The FIMBA organisation have got teams up, and I think they go up until about late 70s or early 80s. To show that there's still opportunities for anybody at any age, I think is really important. So yeah, it's great to be part of. They're a great organisation. I think they really show you what it's all about and make you feel like you're representing your country, part of them. So it's yeah, it's a great experience. There's no doubt about it.
Okay. Um, gonna actually your inspiration for basketball then. Who inspired you for basketball? I'm not talking about Shaka or someone like that, but someone local.
Someone local. Okay. So actually, probably, I mean, giving Tony Glover his credit as well. Being my first coach, he taught me quite a lot, and helped me get to be a sort of the type of player I am, I guess. But probably one of my biggest inspirations locally, and I still see him as a bit of a role model as well, is a good friend of mine called James White. He was a couple of years older than me, National League for Poole Dolphins,
Right.
back when he was younger. But I went to school with him and was always inspired by him. He was so energetic, very fast paced with everything, had a great shot, really polite, well mannered, respectful type friend. But he showed me. He was really what I wanted to be like. He inspired me to be the sort of player I am, I guess. So I hold James responsible for
I'm sure he'd be very pleased. You've seen, you've told me, obviously, with your setup with BBL and helping with that, quite a few venues, and obviously travelled on the Masters. Which is the best venue you would say from what you've seen for atmosphere, probably?
that. Okay. So in regards for atmosphere, so actually, I'm going to say there's two top ones for me, and it's not me being biased because of where I live, but Plymouth, when it was Raiders or Patriots, I think when they did the events at the
Pembroke
pavilions,
Pavilions, yeah.
the entertainment factor, I think they put on a really good show. It wasn't just basketball; it was a huge event every game, and I think the crowd engagement, the entertainment there was top notch. So Plymouth was definitely one of them, but also a good job as well. I really enjoy going to Bristol. They always have a really fun, loud crowd, which keeps the atmosphere alive the whole game, no matter what the scoreline is. So, yeah, Bristol and Plymouth, obviously, are two of my closest venues in the professional league. But I would say hats off to them because they bring the energy every game.
I was going to say, even when the national programs, when you're watching back then the BBL, Plymouth fans always got to mention the pavilions about how engaged the fans were and how noisy the atmosphere was for anyone that went down there. So no, that's great. Um, Horrible one now. Any regrets? You got any regrets in basketball? Not about your life, just in basketball.
Oh God, any regrets? um, No, I think if I had any doing it as I am today, so probably the biggest regret I have, and it's more a personal issue to do with basketball than anything else, is probably looking after my injuries better, looking after my knees and ankles, making sure to prolong my basketball life as much as I could. But in all honesty, I've got away quite lightly in regards to injuries for the amount of time I've been playing. So where's Wood? Somewhere
Yeah.
around here. I think if I was to say I had any regrets, then it would just be to sort of look after my body better for training and the injury side of stuff.
And your greatest achievement in relation to basketball?
Probably, I've got a few, but I think the biggest one for me would have been what changed on basketball. When I worked at the Olympics, I'd say the voluntary work I did for London 2012 really changed my vision on what I wanted to achieve with basketball. And doing that voluntary role for 3 weeks, I think, meeting some of my biggest idols from the Team USA and interacting with different players really made me consider what I was doing as a volunteer. So that's what got me more setting up events like the Bridport 3-on-3 and working for the professional league. So it was the voluntary role, really. So that was probably one of my biggest achievements, yeah.
Okay. And where to next for you then? Or is Bridport it? What's happening to Bridport Evolution?
Bridport Evolution will continue to keep growing and doing what it's doing. I don't think that's going to change too much in the near future, apart from building the team of staff support. But hopefully that will continue to grow and keep staying where it's to and building with the junior side of it. The tournament side of it, I think I'm happy with the size it's got to. I don't intend on that growing any further than what it is. So hopefully that will continue to stay. But for me, probably the next challenge for me to take on is moving 3-on-3 to different tournaments and different events around the country, helping out with a couple of other 3-on-3 organisers as well, running different events. I'm doing one in London in July with a friend of mine, and hopefully we can continue to help grow 3-on-3 around the country. So that's one of my next sort of
they're all
projects,
springing up now, aren't they? They are more visible now, dotted around the country. And
Yeah.
I really wish in the southwest we could get more outside courts painted, like we see being dotted around some of the metropolitan sites. I think the closest to us is Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton's just been redeveloped, hasn't it? Yeah, I think there's always an opportunity to be able to help redevelop, and it always starts with contacting the councils. I did our one in Bridport a couple of years ago, and it really just takes that communication with the council to get them to understand what you want to do with it. And we got our council on board straight away and to get ours redeveloped, which was great. But yeah, there's plenty of outdoor courts that could do with an upgrade to keep people motivated to use them. It's just getting the right people involved to get that communication going, I think. But yeah, it'd be great to see more happen, like you say.
Yeah, it would. We're getting close to the ticking clock now, Craig. So, is there any other area of basketball that you haven't had a chance to discuss tonight you'd like to shout out to anyone?
Um, no, no, I think not really. I want to give you guys credit as well because watching what Exeter and District do, you were one of my first leagues that I ever came into. So, we based a lot of. I was part of the Dorset League setting up, and we took a lot of structure from you guys and how you guys ran things to help get us going on the right foundation. So, I want to give you guys credit for that, really. But yeah. Just keep going. I've not finished yet, so I'll
No,
keep
it's
keep
it's
moving forward with the right
all about
things.
growing the sport, isn't it? But
It is. It is.
yeah, I just want to wrap up, Craig, just to say, obviously, thank you for putting 3-on-3 on the map. Thank you for putting basketball on the map and keep growing it in your area. The work you're doing is a credit to you and everyone around you. It really is. And it's great to see the growth of the Dorset League, as we said, from separating off, which is a big jump, but absolutely brilliant. So keep doing what you're doing, mate. It's really good. And thank you for your time tonight.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks,
Have a
Carl.
good one, Craig.
Thanks a
Look
lot.
after yourself. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Take care. Thank you. Bye.